I've got a very unusual incident here I want to show you this morning. Sad. This is a young large spotted genet. You can see the tail dropping down below the deck over here. This is on the deck at my house, and we found it early this morning when we woke up, and you can see it's been preyed upon. Most of the head has actually been eaten off, as has the front paw over here. The paw still intact, and you can actually see this little predator. They're actually closely related to mongooses and civets, and they are in the cat group. The nocturnal predators, they move around. Long tail gives them balance. They climb into trees a lot. They're quite agile in their movements, and they prey on birds and rodents and whatever else they can find. And it's unlikely that this animal would have got stuck during general foraging. You can see bits of fur here from where something has been feeding on it. The gaps in these planks on the decks, as they typically are, quite narrow. This one widens a little bit here, but look, there is a chance that when it was just walking along, its foot slid into the crevice, and then, you know, while it was flailing around trying to get out, it might have made it even worse. And then the tail has come down, because you can actually see the bottom, the left back leg and the tail are actually trapped inside this crack. It might then have died in this position. We certainly didn't hear any distress calls last night, and maybe it did call and we just didn't hear it, and what its calls would have then attracted another predator, who knows, another genet or wildcat or whatever, that might have then come and eaten it, not being able to pull it loose. Basically ate it in situ. Another option, possibility, you've always got to explore all the options, is that it may have been killed by a predator. You know, predators themselves often get killed by other carnivores, and it might have been close by, and then in an attempt to drag it off and feed on it, the leg and tail got wedged in, having dragged it in from this side. There's a noticeable gap there, and it could have actually been wedged in there, and then the predator couldn't pull it any further, ate a little bit here, then was disturbed by us potentially waking up this morning, and then ran off. So who knows what happened. Net result is that it was an untimely end for this young genet. Still quite a small specimen. You can actually see the marks on the back, got that lovely sort of rusty color, and that's very typical of a large spotted genet. It's also got a black tip on the tail. You can see it just dropping in below the rock over there. So what I'm going to do now is leave this thing here through the day. It would be ideal to move it away and get rid of the flies and all the other things, but it'll be interesting to see what actually returns to feed on it this evening. It would usually be the culprit that it started feeding on it to start with, so let's see what happens. You can see how the tail dropped down through there. Lovely coat. The paw on this side has not been eaten, still intact. So this is both disappointing and very interesting at the same time. This is where the genet was. As you can see, just chunks of fur left. It's the middle of the day. It's only like 11:30, 3-4 hours after I did this morning's video on it. I just quickly came by to have a look at it, and I was in fact going to maybe just try and dislodge it a little bit and then lay it down here on the stones, and it's gone. Now, I don't know what's done this. It's difficult to say. It could well have been a bird flying over, an eagle, probably it could have been a vulture potentially, but let's say a bird of prey. It could well have been a predator close by that was, or the actual instigator of this crime, if it was one, came by and took it again, seeing that all was quiet. Maybe it was a bit hungry, and having been disturbed didn't go too far this morning. It could also have been something like a monkey or a baboon. Baboons in particular are prone to eating carrion and meat and so on, and they will kill and eat mammals. They'll kill lambs of antelope and so on, and I've seen them also scavenging dead animals. But you can see here how the fur has been plucked out of this poor little thing, and it's pretty much gone. There's a bit of a stain here where it was lying, but the fur having been plucked out is very typical behavior of birds of prey. You know, they pluck feathers and fur off their prey. Leopards of course do it as well, but I don't think this was a leopard. Not in the garden this time of day, highly unlikely. They would have basically just ripped it out and gone and eaten it elsewhere. So it could have been a small cat, of course, a wild cat. They also pluck the fur and feathers from their prey. So very difficult to say. It's not possible to see any tracks here, but interesting nonetheless that it's happened right in the middle of the day. I was really hoping to get a view of whatever it was that was going to do this. Okay, so further to this whole Genet saga, thought it had been taken away, and then this afternoon our dog was going for a bit of a walk and was intently sniffing an area of bush, which is a good 40-50 meters away from the deck, which is around the back over there. And over here we find all the bits and pieces. There's a bit of meat, one of the bones, all the fur has been plucked from the body, and obviously large chunks of it have been eaten here. So you can see there's quite a few balls of fluff over here, and just that one piece of meat. The rest of it's all been taken away. But the fact that it's over here and it's been pulled from that position, particularly given how it was wedged in that deck, I don't think this was birds that have come through the day and done this. They would have taken away and consumed it elsewhere, particularly given that we're now standing under a really big tree here. It was small enough for a big bird of prey to have taken it into a big tree and eaten it. I think this was definitely a mammalian predator, so a wild cat or similar, and basically been laying close by waiting for an opportunity when it was quiet, come and taken the kill. And it's pretty much eaten it right here in our garden, as you can see. So back of the garden, but quiet the whole day. Nobody's been moving around, so it was quite hungry, came back for its kill, finished it off, and now has moved off again. So probably laying up not too far from here. Don't think it was a leopard. It wouldn't have eaten it like this. It would have taken the whole thing away. I'm sure this is an African wildcat, but it's difficult to say. You never know what might have been here.